Okay, let's take a look at how we can change fractions to decimals. So let's start out with an easy one, 1/2. And all this is, every fraction is really just a division problem. This fraction means take 1 and split it among two people, or take 1 and split it into two parts. So that means take 1 and split it or divide it into two parts, 1 divided by 2. We can write this as a long division problem, 1 divided by 2. Now that may look a little weird because we're used to having the larger number inside of this little house right here. But in fractions, this is less than 1 whole, so we have our smaller number in here. But we can make this easier simply by making this look like money. And now we can go ahead and divide this out and change this fraction to a decimal. Bring your decimal up. 2 does not go into 1, but 2 does go into 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. And 2 goes into nothing no times. So 1/2 as a decimal is 5/10, or 0.5. Let's look at 3/4. 3/4 really means 3 divided by 4. Taking 3, splitting it into 4 groups. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to split 3 into 4 groups. We're going to make this look kind of like money. Bring our decimal up. 4 goes into 3 no times. 4 goes into 30 7 times. And 4 goes into 20 5 times with no remainder. So 3/4 as a decimal is 0.75 or 75 hundredths. Let's look at 1/3. 1/3 would be taking 1 and splitting it into 3 parts. So if we do the division for that, we can again make it look like money. And we'd bring our decimal up and start dividing. 3 doesn't go into 1. It goes into 10, however, 3 times. Now, notice on this that once I subtract, I'm left with a 1, and then I'm going to have another 10 again. 3 goes into 10 3 times. And this is just going to happen over and over again. And remember, I can add as many zeros as I want to this right here. This is 1 whole. I can put 100 zeros after this 1 whole if I want. So I can keep bringing all these down. 3 goes into 10 3 times. Add another 0. 3 goes into 10 3 times. And I could just keep on going and going and going. This is called a repeating decimal. And in order to prevent us from having to just write it out hundreds of digits, we can simply say that this is 0.3 with a bar over the 3. And that little bar, that little line right over the 3, tells us that that 3 repeats forever and ever. It means that 3 just keeps on going over and over and over again and never terminates or stops.